What if Deku was the son of Nana Shimura? Part 3. Now, getting into this what if, where we left off, Izuku had just won the hero's first villain's assignment. Izuku would be congratulated by All Might as he would then walk back to his house. He would then be stopped by Aizawa as Aizawa would give Izuku a letter. Izuku would just be wondering what's this letter for, as Aizawa would tell him to give it to his mother. Izuku would walk back to his house, more like fly, as he would get back, as he would then give the letter to his mom, who would then open it. She would look at Izuku, as she would then say the heroes at UA, or more like the teachers, want her to come teach for Izuku's upcoming field trip at the unforeseen simulation joint, seeing as she is somewhat of a veteran hero. Now, Izuku would then say, wait, but are you sure you're going to do this? Because that would mean you'd have to come out of hiding. To which Nana would then say it's been almost 20 years since she, faked her death, so maybe they forgot. Izuku would think to himself as he'd say, yeah, maybe they did. Alright. A couple weeks would pass as the day would finally come for them to go to the USJ. Izuku would walk down as he'd get ready, as he would then fly to school, as he would see his mother hop into a car to drive over to UA. Izuku would then arrive as Aizawa would tell them that they are going to be going to the unforeseen simulation joint, otherwise known as the USJ, and for all of them to go put either their hero suits on or their PE tracksuits on, and to get on the bus. Whoever is late, they will not be taking. Everyone would get worried as they would then just rush over to the bus and all just hop on, as they would then wait for the bus to start. Izuku would wonder where his mother was, as Izuku would then just be forced to think on his thoughts, wondering where his mother was. Izuku would be sitting there, as Aizawa would then say for everyone to get off the bus, as they have arrived at the USJ. Izuku, along with the rest of his class, would just hop off the bus, as Izuku would just look around, as he would see his mother up on top of the stairs with the other hero, 13. Izuku and the rest of the class would walk up there, as 13 would then explain what they will be doing. All of the class would then just walk in, as they would then just keep on told about the different areas at the USJ until somebody pointed something out. Hiroshima would yell, "Whoa, they even have fake villains here?" As Aizawa and the rest of the class would look towards the center of the USJ as they see villains piling out of this purple portal. Aizawa was about to jump only to have Nana block his way, as she would then jump down saying she'll take care of it. Aizawa, being a good hero, wouldn't just let her take this feat on alone, as he would then jump down as well with her. From there, Shigaraki, seeing that these low-life thugs, as what he'd call them, are not good enough to take on two pro-level heroes. He doesn't know who Nana is, but he does know who Aizawa is, so he would then yell for the Nomu to go take care of those pesky heroes. From there, the Nomu would screech as it would then jump towards Aizawa and Nana, as he would slam Aizawa's head into the ground very easily, knocking Aizawa out. Nana, seeing this, would rush towards Aizawa, trying to get the Nomu and Aizawa to separate so the Nomu can't just fully kill Aizawa. As Nana would go for a punch using her minor strength quirk, only to be punched right in the gut. As Izuku was forced to watch his mother just be absolutely beaten to death. Izuku just sitting there watching as he was about to jump down, yelling for his mother if he could help her, only to have his mother yell for Izuku to stop, as he would just die too, and it would make no sense. Nana would get up and with one last attack would go punching right towards the Nomu, as she would then collapse to her knees, fully exhausted, using all of her remaining stamina on that one attack. The Nomu, seeing this, would grab Na's head and then plunge its hand right through her stomach, as she would then fall down to the ground, as Izuku would rush over to his mother. He would pick her up as he'd see her just smiling at him, as he'd say, "Mom, don't give up. We can get you to a hospital. You can survive." Nana would then just put a shaky hand up to Izuku with the finger to his lips, as she would just say, "Shh. Doesn't matter, Izuku. I'm gonna die either way. Just don't let your class and Aizawa die. Don't fail me, Izuku." Izuku would then feel her heartbeat, as he would then see as her pulse stops. He would stand up with his hair covering his eyes, as if pure rage had taken over him, as he would then unlock a new quirk, Black Whip. And here is an explanation of Black Whip. Basically, it's an it's a emotion-based quirk, and Izuku's other two quirks were able to mutate this quirk into Black Whip, but also something else. Black Whip hasn't come in the anime, but in the manga, but a lot of people know it, because it was leaked a lot. Now, Izuku would then have this Black Whip, as he would reach for his katana, as he would then pull it down to his side. The Black Whip would go up around his arm, through his hand, and then would cover itself around the blade of the katana, just making this dark energy katana type thing. As Izuku would raise the katana with both hands up above his head, and would then slash down very quickly and violently right at Shigaraki, who Kirigiri was able to move out the way, but that didn't explain for the rest of the villains there, as they were basically just split into two halves with this giant ravine in the ground right where they were. As Izuku just walks over all the passed out or dead bodies of these villains, as his eyes would then start to glow straight black, just solid black. As Izuku would then walk over to Shigaraki, only to have Shigaraki yell for the Nomu to bring that brat to him. He wants to kill that brat for basically ruining his massive army of thugs that he took weeks to gather. The Nomu would screech as it run over to Izuku, trying to grab it, only to have Izuku slash upwards, cutting the Nomu's arm clean off. The Nomu would jump back, only to have Shigaraki yell for the Nomu to rush towards Izuku again and to not give up, a weakling this time. The Nomu would shriek once again as it would charge full-on towards Izuku, only to have Izuku slash it straight across, as Shigaraki would just start laughing. That attack did nothing to the Nomu. As Izuku would just be waiting, as Shigaraki would tell the Nomu to go on with a full attack towards Izuku. The Nomu would go in for a punch, as if trying to knock Izuku out, only to immediately screech in pain, as Shigaraki's head would violently twitch up, as he'd see the Nomu just get split in two, with his waist down and his torso up, just completely in separate halves. As the Nomu would then die right there in front of Izuku's feet, as Izuku would start to walk right towards Shigaraki, as he would then say in his voice, saying, "It's over, Shigaraki." Shigaraki would then yell for Kirigiri to get them out of there, as Izuku with one attack was able to slash towards Shigaraki. Shigaraki would run through the portal or jump, as his arm would reach back, as Izuku's attack would slice Shigaraki's arm clean off. As Izuku would then somehow get out of the trance he was just in, as he'd collapse to his knees, breathing heavily, as he would then think, what the hell just happened? It's like I completely blacked out. Wait, my mother! As Izuku would then rush over to his mom, as he would feel her pulse as he would just look down as if he was very sad, as tears would drain from his eyes, as he could feel that his mother was dead. All of a sudden, All Might would burst through the door saying, "I am here," with a frown on his face, only to see Izuku standing over his dead mother's body. All Might would rush over to Izuku to see Izuku just staring blankly at his mother, as All Might would put a hand around Izuku's shoulder, saying that everything will be fine. We cut to Shigaraki just jumping out of the portal as he would scream in pain from his arm just being ripped off, as they would look up at his arm as the black energy was almost just infecting the rest of his shoulder, as Shigaraki would then ask to go see All for One. Now, Hirogiri would bring Shigaraki to All for One, but before I can tell you guys that, let's get a quick ad break. Is over, we can get back into this what if. Now we see Shigaraki hop out of Kirigiri's portal, as he would then go over to All for One, asking for All for One to give him a regeneration quirk so he can regenerate his arm. All for One would place his hand on Shigaraki's head, as he would then transfer a regen quirk over to him, as Shigaraki would then feel somewhat of the pain go away, but he'd see that his arm wasn't regenerating. He'd say, "Why the hell didn't you give me a regeneration quirk?" As All for One would just say he did, but it seems that black energy type thing around his arm is stopping it from regenerating. So whatever that kid's quirk that did this to him is probably very dangerous. As All for One would then just be forced to think, if he could steal that kid's quirk, he could be immensely powerful. It would be great. As we then see Shigaraki be forced to get some type of cybernetic arm, as they were forced to amputate the other just dark power around his arm, hopefully so it didn't spread to his full body and make it shut down. Now we would then see Izuku just sitting right by his mother's grave, as he would just be thinking, "Can't let this show to his classmates. He'll think he's weak. He's grieved enough. He's got to get back into his training routine." And that's where I'm going to leave it off, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy What If Deku Was the Son of Nana Shimura Part 3. If you like the background music, go check it out. Link in the description below or the comment section. It's not mine. But the original link to the YouTube channel and video is in the link below. Go check that out. Thank you all for watching once again, and goodbye.